this special yagya, and by the performance of that yagya, this time it bore fruits. So very soon Yashoda Mai became pregnant. Now the other branch. So we said that there were two brothers, Parijanya and Shursena. So this is the lineage of Parijanya. Shursen, he was married to a very beautiful princess by the name of Padmavati. So Padmavati was so beautiful that it is said that even the devas would get bewildered by seeing Padmavati. So one day, Padmavati, she went as part of, I guess, a picnic to Sudama mountain, and there it was very beautiful, and cool breeze was blowing, and the birds were chirping, and she looked extremely attractive in that setting. And then it so happened that at that time there was a Danav by the name of Drumila, and he was traveling in the air, and he saw Padmavati. So he became very lusty on seeing her, and because the Danavs have mystic powers, he was able to look into the heart of Padmavati and could understand that she is missing her husband. So by his mystic powers, he assumed a form just like her husband. And then he descended, and Padmavati was shocked and pleasantly surprised to suddenly see her husband appear. And because the environment was such that soon they were engaged in conjugal pastimes. Now, as a chaste woman, Padmavati immediately could understand that this man who looked like her husband was not her husband, and she became very angry, and she pushed this Danav Drumil away from her, saying Kamsha. So Kamsha means, who are you? So Drumil, he resumed his original form, and then he said, I am the king of the Danavas, and I was attracted to you. And Padma was very, very angry with him, and she said, you have spoiled my chastity. So Drumil said it was destined to happen. It happened. And she said, the son that you will bear will be famous in the three worlds for his strength, and even the demigods would be scared of him. And because on his conceiving you said Kamsa, he will be known as Kamsa. So in this way, Kamsa was born. And when Kamsa, he grew up, he became very, very strong. But because of the consciousness at the time of his conception, and because of his lineage, that even though Padma was a pious woman, the father was a Danav, and the consciousness at that time was vitiated. That Padma was uh, was scared and outraged and angry, and Drumil was infatuated with lust. So Kamsa was born exemplifying those qualities. He was lusty, he was angry, he was envious, but nevertheless he was so strong that when he grew up, then he actually went to this almost like a tirtha, but his tirtha was different. His tirtha was that he would find out the names and addresses of great warriors who were famous, and he would go and he would challenge them to battle. And his condition used to be that if I defeat you, you become my slave. If I lose from you, I'll become your slave. And because the people that he challenged were all great warriors themselves, they would never turn back from a battle, and then they would fight with Kamsa. And Kamsa would defeat them. So in this way, he had so many very, very powerful demons, like Shaktasur and Bakasur and the Keshi demon. So all these demons that later on Kamsa sent to Vrindavan to kill Krishna, they were demons that he had earlier on defeated and made them his own slave. So this actually, Kamsa is told by Narad Muni. Narad Muni tells Kamsa his birth. And so when Kamsa was becoming a little kind towards Devaki, and he said, don't be kind towards Devaki. You're not, Narad Muni said, you're not actually related. You both are Devaki, because Kamsa considered Devaki to be like his sister. Said, no, Devaki is not like your sister, you're not really related. And then he said, you're actually the son of Drumil. And then Kamsa basically becomes more hard-hearted towards Devaki. And then Narad Muni actually goes back to his previous life. And he says that in your previous life, you were Kalanemi. You were a great demon by the name of Kalanemi. So in some of the Puranas, Kalanemi is shown as the son of Hiranyakashipu. So Kalanemi is famous for his prowess. He rides on a lion. He carries a trident, and in the Bhagavatam he appears at the battle between the Devas and the Asuras after the churning of the ocean. And there Kalanemi is like a terror. He comes with his trident, and all the Devas, they are terrified of him, and he's running around killing everybody. And then ultimately Lord Vishnu comes and kills him with the Sudarshan Chakra. So Narad Muni says that you were actually a famous and a powerful personality who was killed by Lord Vishnu. So now Kamsa, his hatred for Lord Vishnu, which was always there, but it was like smoldering, now it becomes a raging fire. So Narad Muni tells him that I have some more information for you also. That while I was traveling, I actually came upon a secret assembly of the Devas. And they were all having this secret assembly, and they were trying to plan your death. And Kamsa said, really? How were they going to do that? And they said, well, you already heard at the time when Devaki was married to Vasudeva that her 8th son will kill you. So the Devas are all trying to protect the son. And they themselves are taking birth in your family and waiting for a time suitable to kill you. So Kamsa now becomes very, very angry. And that's why he begins to arrest and kill the members of the Yadu Vansha. Because he didn't know which are the devas, so he begins to arrest and kill them. And that's why all the members of the Yadu Vansha, they leave Mathura to different paths. So in all this turmoil, Krishna appears. And when Krishna appears, it is raining at the time. So the acharyas say that the nature of the rain at the time was, because there's different kinds of rains that fall. There are some rains that hurt your body, or the water is so polluted or hot or cold, it's not comfortable. But the acharyas say that the rain that was falling was gentle and aromatic. It was like the devas were doing abhishek. And when Krishna appeared, Devaki and Vasudeva were so afraid that Kamsa would come and kill him that they were trying to hide. So at that time, Krishna, he appears in his four-handed Vishnu form to assure them, don't worry, there's no danger from me from Kamsa. But the paternal affection is so strong that even after they see the Narayan form of Krishna, Devaki is still trying to cover him with a blanket, and Yashoda is still trying, Vasudeva is still trying to hide him in the corner. So then Krishna gives them this instruction that you take me across the Yamuna. Go to Nand Baba, and there, leave me over there. There's a girl that's been born there. You exchange me and come back. So this is Vasudeva, who is famous for keeping his word. When he had promised Kamsa that he will deliver each and every of his son, then based on that, because Vasudeva was so famous for never breaking his word, that even a demon like Kamsa, he accepted it, saying, yes, if you're saying it has to be true. Same person now, without any qualms, broke his words. He said, yes, I will take you. I will take you across the river. The other sons that were born, he was faithfully taking them to Kamsa. But now he said, okay. So that's bhakti. When Krishna says that, Sarvadharam pratyaje mamekam sharanam braj. So, one of the dharmas of Vasudeva was to be true to his words. But higher than that dharma is to follow the instructions of Krishna. So as a pure devotee, Vasudeva understood that the instructions of Krishna, they trump his own words, his own promises, etc. So he took Krishna across Yamuna, and Yamuna was at that time flooded with rain. So it is said that Yamuna was rising higher and higher in order to touch the feet of Krishna. Because Vasudeva was carrying Krishna on his head. And as Yamuna was rising higher and higher, Vasudeva was getting more and more drowned. So finally Krishna, understanding the desires of Yamuna, he dangled his feet and allowed Yamuna Devi to touch his lotus feet, after which she descended. When Vasudeva crossed over, then this is spoken by Jiva Goswami and other acharyas, Vishnu Chakravarti, that Yashoda Mai actually had twins. She had a son and a daughter. And the daughter that was born of, the son that was born of Yashoda Mai is Krishna Swayam Bhagavan. Because Krishna says he never sets a feet outside Vrindavan. So it was Krishna who was born, and the personality of Lord Vishnu appeared in the womb of Devaki. So, so Lord Vishnu, as we know, is an Amsha of Krishna. So when Vasudev, when he brought Vasudev Krishna back, he merged into original Krishna, and he took the daughter back. So the daughter was none other than Yogamaya. So acharyas say that Vasudev was bound by chains and in a dark prison. When Krishna appeared, the chains were removed and the prison opened. That's the influence of Krishna in the life of a devotee. That the jivas in the material world, they're bound by these chains of material, the modes of material nature. And they're imprisoned in this dark cell of avidya. But when Krishna appears in their hearts, then the doors of the cells open, the chains break away, everything becomes auspicious. Now, on the contrary, when Vasudeva returned with Maya Devi, then the opposite happened. So when Vasudeva returned with Maya Devi, the chains once again bound Vasudeva. The doors of the cell once again became closed. The guards once again became alert, how to keep him inside. So that's the effect of Maya Devi. So the appearance of Krishna in everyone's life is a momentous event. I remember not some time back, many years ago, the devotees started compiling this series of videos asking senior devotees that how did you come to Krishna consciousness? When did Krishna appear in your life? And everybody had a fascinating story to share about where they were. And of course, a lot of these devotees, by the influence of Srila Prabhupada, but all the stories are fascinating. Like in some cases, I was hearing about Aindra Prabhu, that he just heard the kirtan. Right, he was a musician living in DuPont area, kind of a hippie, and he just heard kirtan. He had never heard about Krishna, he had never heard about devotees, never seen devotees, did not even see the devotees at that time, because they were in a different street. But he heard them playing the kartals, singing the Hare Krishna mantra, and then he says something in his heart, it just opened. This is for me. And he ran so fast after them that he lost his shoe, one shoe. He was wearing one shoe only. And he could not find them, because by that time the devotees had gone. There was a temple on Q Street at the time. The devotees had already gone in there. But he became really frantic. He kept asking around, who was this person singing, ting, 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 this sound? And finally he went to the temple. And the rest, of course, is history, that he joined the movement, he served Srila Prabhupada so many years, went to Vrindavan, started the 24-hour Sankirtan there. So in some cases, it's as dramatic as that. But in other cases, it's like the rising of the sun. That it's dark and little bit the sun rises, it's less dark, little bit more, and it's a little brighter. And then it's all bright. It's the sun is at its zenith. So I just wanted to introduce this part of it. Of course, there are many ways to appreciate the pastimes of the appearance of Krishna. Acharyas speak so exhaustively about it from different aspects, from rasa, from tattva, the symbolism of it. And we have talked about it at various times in the past, and we will continue to talk about it. Today I wanted to hear from all of you about your Krishna Janmashtami. How and when did Krishna appear, and how has it affected you? And I think just for the sake of, um, well, I'm not sure. Indulekha has put the Facebook on. Do you want this to go on Facebook, or what are your thoughts?
I think it should be fine. We all can refer to it later.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Yes, bro, that's fine.
Okay. So now it's open to you. Anybody, if you would like to share, I would be.
I think I can speak for myself, and hopefully Piali has the same kind of experience. But from my perspective, I think he kind of appeared to us through our kids, because we had just so we were always looking for opportunities to expose our kids to Indian culture and Indian religion. And we were in Herndon at that time, and they used to go to what was it? Chinmaya Mission. And they used to have fun, but then it became, after we moved to McLean, it became logistically very difficult. So we were looking for opportunities, and we had been to ISKCON before, and then heard about the Sunday school at ISKCON that Mataji used to run. And that's when Shubham at that time was too young to be part of the Sunday school, but Srinjoy got started, and we saw that he liked it. And then obviously through that process, we got exposed to the different devotees, started interacting. It became a regular event, and then gradually Shubham became part of Sunday school when he came of age. And I think that's how we got exposed, and it kind of grew on us. So unfortunately, at least from my perspective, it wasn't as dramatic as the incident that you mentioned. It was more gradual, and I think it was the fact that the kids enjoyed Mataji's school so much that it became part of the routine, and we enjoyed the process.
Very good. Thank you so much for sharing.
No, it's very simple.
Thank you for sharing.
I will share my experience with this. I've been visiting the temple since like 2003, and but then got married, and then when Mr. continued that, when Divyans was like, I think it's 8 year or 9 year old, we came to know about the classes, the Sanskrit classes, and the Gita classes that were we offered. And so at that time, Aradhana first came into contact with the Mataji, and then of course I got, I got introduced, and then since then we came to know about this Mata family, and then this joined, and then first we have been since then we've been involved in all this, and that's how we came into contact with the disciples of Krishna and in our family here.
How has your life changed since you've come in contact?
I mean, before we joined the family, and we learned so many things. We were just spending time, with us, just doing our work, and not. We were worshiping everything we used to at home, but not in a very active way. Didn't know much about the scriptures. We had some idea about the scriptures, but not the level of detail. Now, you taught us, and then other devotees taught us, and that way, we know much more about Krishna's pastimes and all the families, Prabhupada, and everybody else. So, and the philosophies of Gita, the teachings. We knew about Gita, and I think in India, everybody knows about this scriptures, but I'm not sure how many people actually read that and then go into details and have a chance to discuss with other people. In that way, this group has been wonderful. we actually knew that what is Gita and what is in there, and so yeah, it has been a great learning experience.
Wonderful. Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for sharing. Okay. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yeah, I'll share my experience. How did Krishna came? Probably through Srila Prabhupada. Because when we went to, after marriage, me and Varsha went to Goa for honeymoon, and in the hotel room, in the drawer, there was a Bhagavad Gita, as it is, Srila Prabhupada's. So I don't know, it is a stall or it was for me, so I just bought that book back home after I left the hotel. And it stays with me, and probably during that my PhD time, I read a little bit, but then not really seriously. After coming to US, actually, then I started searching the temple, and where actually again Krishna came in a way of a devotee who was driving the shuttle. His name is Vidur Prabhu. So he was driving the shuttle, and then he informed me, hey, here is the temple, you can come here. And he used to talk about Krishna's books, about preaching, little bit preaching to the shuttle, where I used to spend like 20-30 minutes with him during the bus. So that's how I can say, yeah, Krishna came through Prabhupada's book, and then once it started, everything started rolling, then I could say Krishna came through my Guru Maharaj when I first time met him in Baltimore, and then met him almost every year. He used to come here, and he used to come to New York Rath Yatra. So again, New York Rath Yatra is another way you can say, yeah, Jagannath came into, first time I saw Jagannath, I didn't have a lot of idea about Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, so yeah, you can say, yeah, it's through the scripture and through the Guru.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Anybody else?
I can share, Prabhuji.
Yes,
You would
please.
like. Good to
Yes.
hear.
Please, yes.
So, Prabhuji, I think the seed for ISKCON was sown when I was, 16 or 17, and I went to Australia for an internship. I was invited as a visiting scientist. And ISKCON was the temple that was closest, like walking distance, from where I was renting the place. And I just used to go there sometimes in the evening because I was all alone, right? Didn't have any family. So, and then just help out in the kitchen for, wherever they needed help. And believe it or not, after that, had no contact, right? And then, I stayed in New York. Never went to the Prabhupada's first place on that 2nd Avenue, right? But then I came to Maryland, and I just came to visit ISKCON one day. It was Sunday, with my friend, and Indu Mataji was standing in front of me, right? And then she turns around and she says, "Hari Bol." So I did her namaste, and then she says, "She asked me, who are you?" And I told her, "Yeah, I'm from New York." And she said, "Yeah, you should come on Fridays, to the Namhat." Honest to God, I didn't know what Namhat meant, right? And then Friday you showed up with a car to pick me up. I was like, okay, sure, yeah, it's like, and then that's how the journey started. And Dhaval Prabhuji and they used to, their family used to then for a few weeks, and then I started driving, getting to know the area and all. But it's just the beauty of it is Indu Mataji is like, my angel of Radharani, she's like that gopi for me. And she always, even it has to be scolding, or you're always like checking them. I mean, how much energy it takes, right, to check up on person. Yeah, you doing japa, even when Diksha was born. It's admirable for a person who's not related to do that constantly and constantly reminded. And you, through the emails, have, in spite of moving from Maryland, have always kept in touch with me. Are you doing your rounds? So you guys have given me, if I'm a vine, you're like that tree around which I always could find support. But then through me, then I would talk. Like, you would give the lecture on Friday. Trust me, I would repeat that whole lecture to Mom on Saturday. Every Saturday, that was our morning talk, right? So Mom got the taste. And Mom has been doing 16 rounds, and sometimes she does 24 for past at least 5 years.
Wow.
Right? Then Mom got Gornitai for my younger sister, and she got the Japa Mala for her. So she's doing 1 round, right? And my oldest sister, then she got Tulsi beads for them. And the same way, so why am I saying all this? See how that one seed, that pollens from one plant, right? And then Arpan, right? So Arpan's family is a lot more Kabir Das believers, right? But through, the association that he got in Maryland and to all the Prabhujis, I think he was pretty tight, and he was quite a bit in touch with Parikshit, right? He used to come home quite a bit. So, and he would always talk about Gita. And so, there's a seed in him too, which definitely, all the seeds need to be watered. But you can see, now he goes and stands in front of Krishna. The fact he goes to the mandir, stands in front of the Krishna makes me so happy.
That's really powerful and humbling also. How the ripples spread out and out and out, and it's essentially the power of devotion coming from Krishna that is spreading out so much.
Yeah, and then it's like Viksha. Viksha carries her little Radha Krishna. She has this to everywhere. Like hi, mine. Any problem comes, Mom is not at school, but Krishna is there.
Ah, no.
Yeah. So okay. Sometimes when I ask myself, I don't have any family, why did Krishna make me leave my country? I miss home a lot. And make me come here, then, what was Krishna's plan? And then get me married to a person who's American, doesn't speak my language, and doesn't understand Indian culture. And then, it's like, I feel like I can't go back even if I want, right? Because of, and then only one answer comes to the heart. It was, he was merciful to give me bhakti, right? Maybe if I was in India, I would not have got it. I was in India for so many years, right? And then Mummy goes to Vrindavan every month, at least. And then she goes with her friends, and she makes them stop at the ISKCON mandirs, It's like...
That is so interesting. Thank you so much for sharing. And you're right, it is...
Thank you.
It is inspiring and humbling also at the same time. Thank you.
Prabhuji, this is a Vinash. I guess everyone has spoken now. It's my turn finally. I was thinking what to say. How has it changed our life? We have been in the US for a pretty long time, and we had made contacts. We had planted lots of groups, and most of the time in these groups, when you go meet, the girls go to one side, the guys go to one side, girls talk about, hey, where did you buy this jewelry, where did you buy this clothes, hey, I bought this thing from here, and this thing, how it goes. And then they tell the wives, man, the husbands, more pressure, Uncle John, follow the neighbors, and guys talk about stocks, this thing, and basically, so I kind of sometimes got, there was nothing much coming out of that thing. You take few drinks, and get a little bit more crazy. That's how it goes. That's the way of life, And then maybe two or 3 years ago, we learned that my sister was sick, and you and Indu Mataji came and saw it. It really moved me quite a bit, and I really wanted to know a bit more about, Krishna. I had, my dad used to pray Krishna when he was, when I was little. That time all you have heard is, hey, how I'm going to score in my high school, I better get in engineering college or get in, and that's the actual way life is. And so after I came to US, I never bothered to learn. And believe it or not, till I came at your house, I had no idea there's a Gita. I never touched Gita in my life, And I didn't know there were 22 less chapters in that thing, It was kind of interesting. And I get to associate with people who were in the group, and they were so courteous, and the kind of discussions was whole lot different, that really makes a difference, There is a high level discussion talk, than just talking about the, jewelry and clothing and stocks and all that stuff. And I think, and as I grew older, when you are close to the end of the tunnel, then you realize, oh man, where did all those years go by? Then you say, then it was kind of nice to learn a bit more, and it gives us a little bit self-discipline. Like we have this on every Friday, we'll listen to you, and we learn something, that's kind of nice, So that's the reason I enjoy being part of this con. And ISKCON is good, but when you're part of a smaller group like NH, that makes it even further better, Anybody can go to ISKCON temple, that doesn't mean, but when you're part of NH group, you know people from person to person, that makes a big difference.
You're very right, Prabhu. It's like being a part of a family.
Yeah, part of the bigger family, that's right.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing, Prabhu. And I can completely relate to the dynamics of the party. We used to, both Indulekha and I, we used to experience that ourselves. After some time, it becomes exhausting.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Prabhu. Okay. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
So, Prabhu, while everybody, all the devotees of our family were speaking, I was thinking I could relate to so many of their experiences. Whether enjoying the kirtan or whether getting involved in the Sunday school with Mataji or doing the services together as a group and enjoying as well as doing the service. All credit goes to Mataji for that. So I was thinking how it actually started. So it actually started for us back in India when we got married. So being in India and being in Delhi from a North Indian family, like we used to go to temple, Even as a kid, we used to go to temple. Both of us, I think, share this common thing that we used to go to temple, we used to pray, but what was being taught to us as a kid was you go to temple to give obeisances and to ask for things, right? It's like you go and if you want something or if you want to share something with the God, just go to temple and pay your obeisances and reveal your heart and you will get it. Whether it be going to Lord Shiva, fasting, all those things are ultimately related to some kind of a benediction. You're looking for some kind of a benediction from God, so go and ask for it. but we never knew as a child, or even, coming to US and coming to Namhat precisely and hearing from you in detail that what is really bhakti, what is Krishna looking from us, We always knew what we should look from him, but we never knew what Krishna is expecting from us, or how we should conduct ourselves, what is the real goal of our life. And it actually started when, we used to go to, in India there is this concept of DDA park. There are a lot of big parks with a lot of facilities in there. So there used to be a Gaudiya Math right opposite to that DDA park. So we never, before that we used to go to temples but never visited Gaudiya Math as such. But whenever we used to go to this DDA park, we used to hear the Aarti, evening 7 o'clock Aarti. And then one day finally we decided, okay, let's go take darshan and see, what is it? It's so melodious. And, we are dancing really in the park. We are dancing, hearing to that kirtan, that Aarti ongoing. So we went inside, and that was the closest to our temple. We were staying to our home. We were staying in Janakpuri, so that was the closest temple to our home. So slowly we started going there more often. And then Janmashtami festival, any festival, we'll go there. So slowly we start. At that time, we were not too much into lectures, so we won't go at the time when there is a lecture and really not hear the philosophy as such. But we will go and hear to the music and participate in kirtan. But it's actually when we came to US and you invited us and we started coming to Bhakti Vriksha program that we started. And I remember you told once that initially it happens that when you come, a lot of people like Prashadam or Kirtan or something, and that's when you start. But slowly you start getting more interested in philosophy. And you want to know more and you want to hear more. So I think slowly we developed that taste for hearing. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for showing us that path and being our mentor.
Thank you for sharing. And yes, I think we're all walking together, drawing encouragement from each other. Thank you so much. Anyone else? It's been so wonderful.
Krishna Prabhuji. Actually, Prabhuji, when I'm from childhood and from little bit teenage also, I was having that little bit strong desire to know the purpose of life, or who am I, kind of so many questions were there. And I tried different things, and some things seriously or non-seriously, I tried to explore few practices, but none of them not gave the satisfaction that because I didn't get the answers for the questions of life. And for some time, seriously, I took my brother-in-law's practice. After my sister got married, he was following some practice, so I took it a little more seriously than that. But when I asked him questions, he says that you practice, you will get to know. Fortunately, he didn't answer any of the questions. So I was doing meditation and all, but not fully satisfied. I was still in the search. But one day I was working in Infosys. A new colleague joined our team, and he is a brahmachari devotee, and he stayed in temple for a year. So initially, when I seeing the Kantimala, I was excited. It has something to do with spirituality or something, so I can inquire what he does, kind of thing. So, and in the team, because of his hairstyle and how he looks and all, colleagues and all make fun of him. The very first day he joined, there was a office party, and he very reluctantly came, and everybody, colleagues, because I am friend with others, they make fun with me about him and all. So I tried to protect him because he is very feeling discomfort. And later he became such a close friend to me that I started inquiring with the purpose of knowing what really he does and all. So daily after, whenever he is about to have lunch, he give a spoon or two prasadam to me. Sometimes slowly as friendship grow, he bring a small box for me.
And like that, daily we used to, after lunch, we used to have a walk and then sit on a table or chair and we discuss. I used to ask all my questions. And he gives so satisfactory and commanding answers. Sometimes his logic overpowers. After going home, some other question comes. Then I used to go back to him, saying that yesterday you said like that, but what about this possibility, like that. He very patiently answered. And more than that, like his conduct is something so inspiring that even though people make a fun of him, he never commented back. And sometimes I used to advise to be little, take the middle path, so that, people, I was feeling bad for somebody scolding him or making fun of him, not really scolding. But he was saying that like he is just sticking to his path, his behavior, and slowly it became such a way that everybody started liking in the whole team. And they used to say, you always roam around with that person, but you are not like him, and they are pushing on me. So actually that put the seed, and slowly he invited to his place, and he every Sunday lecture hearing. But the difference, there the foundation came in pretty decent, but there are still a lot of details that I was not exposed to until I met you and Mataji. That because at one point, because I am here and they are in India, and this was not working that great, so they suggested you go out and try out. So I was really worried, like when I was coming to you, because I don't know where I will, because those people I am somehow connected, but I was not sure. But by Krishna's arrangement, I got you and Mataji. So here I was introduced to Radharani and Bhagavatam, so many things. Like actually, the list goes on, and especially to say that the larger setting of devotees, and because you daily in your classes, directly or indirectly, always say how to deal with people, how to be, because being inexperienced, I am little doubtful to stay in larger settings, and also there is I can see some definite improvements after coming to you, although I have not fully utilized your whatever you are facilitating us. But I see that even little bit of good feeling for devotee, it helps you to be in devotional service. And I remember there are when things come little challenging, then I put it on myself, thinking that devotee means well-wisher. So that is some definition kind of helps me, that to take it on me and later. Yeah. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. It is all because of you where I am here today.
Glories to Prabhupada.
When Mataji even called me first time, I still remember. Earlier sitting, there is no sharing of phone numbers or anything. Here Mataji herself directly called. So everything I still like a photo are there in my mind. First time when I saw you, Mataji, all those things.
That is
when
true.
I joined, you have little favor. After the class, you join. Everything is like strong memories.
That is true. I think these moments are very precious, and thank you for sharing time with us. Thank you for your ongoing association. Okay, wonderful. So, anybody else would like to share?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I had mentioned this one time when Brahmapada Swami had come here. I always grew up, I think from the beginning, I've always been with Krishna. And more like Krishna was with me than me being with Krishna, I think. But so grew up in playing in Udupi temple or the Narasimha temple in Mulki, my father's place, and even in India. And first when I came here, Berkeley was close by and there was ISKCON right there. I come here and the ISKCON was, it just, my closer and very much focused association started only after I started. I think more so as when I started coming to this Namahat group. In many ways, every day I am getting some kind of a different association with the devotees, association with the scriptures. Indulekha Mataji reading in the afternoon or in the evening viewers. Sometimes I listen on the Facebook, sometimes somehow YouTube somewhere. And it's truly, there is something very different as to your just going to the temple, coming just because we grew up in that background. Like I think Shivani was saying, how we just go and to this focus, proper understanding and deeply understanding and following, I guess it's that I should say I started after I came here. And I have to credit Rita for it. Rita brought me to this group. Rita's house there. I think you had the kirtan, right, Rita, for your mother-in-law? That's the first time I came. And Indulekha Mataji invited me the very next time to the Friday, and I think I never stopped after that. I might have missed few times here and there, but not willingly. I would rather not miss any. But now with the COVID, at least we even have the opportunity to kind of look back in the Facebook Live and recap. But it never makes up to the same as meeting in person. Totally 100% difference, I feel. But we have to be thankful that we have this opportunity, and I extremely am thankful. And I even mentioned this to maybe Indulekha Mataji. I kept asking Krishna, how come this many years he didn't put me in this group? But I'm happy. I'm grateful and thankful and feeling blessed, I guess. In this group. And thank you and Indulekha Mataji.
Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, and we are all blessed to have each other. Thank you.
Prabhu, a small story sharing by me. So, like when I got married, my mother-in-law, she had a habit of reading Bhagavad Gita. So I started reading with her some part every day, and that's how the seed of Krishna Bhakti came into me. And still I was in the Indian environment, I was still thinking like we do any kind of austerities favor for God, not for us. Like we are doing favor on God, like that's what was my impression as a small child that time. And then when I came to US and I saw that Sagar also is so much into Bhakti, and also I thought, okay, now I have to follow here also. And then slowly, like in BC, like Pennsylvania temple, Baltimore temple, we got connected to devotees and all that. That's how I advanced. But nobody taught us everything in detail. But when we came to Namhat group in DC and met you guys, and we learned in detail about Bhakti, and Indulekha Mataji taught us everything in detail, and you also, and that's how we are progressing systematically in Bhakti through your guidance.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you were listening to Bhagavatam when you were a child, you were saying, when you were small?
We used to go to a temple nearby, and there all the great saints used to come, and we used to listen to them. Yeah.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
It's called Sanatan Temple.
Sri Sanatan Dharma Vidyalaya Temple. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so thank you so much for sharing your Krishna Janmashtami with us. And it's what?
I thought, never mind. I was going to share something, but that's fine.
Oh, Indulekha wants to share something.
Book off with it.
I was going going to ask Prabhuji, how did you both got into